Jared, first I'd like to invite you to come on and talk a little bit about, what you like in terms of the best short-term tactical trade for today's session.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Happy to be with you guys. For short-term trades, so because I do try to watch all the markets, I'm definitely keeping an eye on oil and where oil crude might be headed, and that's keeping kind of my attention on some of the CAD pairs. So I'm definitely interested in some of the CAD pairs for some short-term pullback and see if we can get a couple little corrective trades going on some of those Canadian dollar pairs. That's probably going to be my biggest focus today, I think.
So if we're going to kick off with the first trade, are you looking to buy dollar CAD? Is that the play that you're starting the session off with?
So I'm a little torn between, if I can show this chart for a second. We have some dollar CAD activity that I think looks pretty interesting. I like the Euro CAD as well. So I think the Euro CAD is kind of interesting, and I think this little sell-off that we've seen looks ripe for at least some pullback. So yeah, I'm torn. If I need to call the first trade, I don't know. It might be dollar CAD.
So while you're mulling on this, you have to tell us what this blue indicator is. I'm sure our audience is eager to find out.
So I love this. This is like one of the greatest indicators. I actually use two. Well, I use three indicators kind of pretty consistently, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. This is just a volume profile. It just kind of shows us where volume is where volume has been heavy in relation to price. So a lot of people look at volume kind of at the bottom of their charts that just kind of says what happened on what day. But I'm definitely interested in this, how big volume has been at certain prices.
That's really interesting because not many traders look at, volume at price versus volume per day. So are you telling me that you're going long dollar CAD here at 123.71?
I think so. I think dollar CAD. I'm kind of looking at some of the shorter term charts here. I was hoping this wouldn't break out before our challenge today, and it's already kind of made a little bit of a run. So I feel like we're going for a late entry here. But yeah, I like dollar CAD long around this area. Maybe we can set a small limit order and buy a dip. But I think there's long opportunity here for a little bit of a run up on dollar CAD.
So where would your stop be on this trade?
So typically I like longer term trades. So I use larger stop losses. For this kind of a setup, if we're looking at kind of where all the key levels are on this dollar CAD right here, obviously we got a lot of activity down here right at about 120-ish. So that's 300 pips away. For a long-term trade, I would be scaling in long all the way down to about 120. So I'd spread my positions across kind of this 123 down to that 120 area. For a shorter-term trade, we don't really have anything too interesting beyond this low. And this is a pretty convincing looking low. We have a pretty nice, you see the 4-hour chart. We got a nice candle. For all the candlestick lovers out there, we've got a nice hammer on the 4-hour chart. So I think that's pretty encouraging. So on the short-term side of things, I'd probably put my stop 10 to 15 pips below this low right here. See if we can get a pullback and keep it above that level.
And what is that price again?
Yes, sorry. That price is about 122.85. So I'd probably put a stop loss maybe around 122.60-ish, 60.65, 122.60, 65, right in that area.
Okay, and what are you targeting?
So some of my favorite targets. I'm an old-fashioned. I like pivot points. So I've got a couple of pivot points on here that I think we can look at. I think that there is. I think that there's a lot of good potential and opportunity to get up some of these past weekly pivot points. I mean, if we could hang on to this for a little bit longer, I think 125 is a great target. Otherwise, for a shorter term trade, I'm probably looking at around 124 to 124.25 area. So
does the volume distribution at those price levels tell you anything, or it's just the pivots that you're looking at for the targets?
Yes. So our volume profile over here has definitely given us some good signals. So you can see that, for this period that we're looking at right here, that takes us nicely through that consolidation. So, oftentimes when we have those heavy volume areas, it can slow down those movements, right? And it can kind of create a little bit of resistance, a little bit of consolidation. And that's kind of why I'd be looking around that, kind of that 124.50-ish area is kind of an initial 124 to 124.50 to kind of just get into that heavy volume, see if that slows down the upward movement, causes some consolidation. So
So
yes,
that's
definitely.
so good stuff. So why don't you go ahead and place that trade on the platform and the stops and limits for our first trade. And while you're doing that, this is a very what Jared just showed to us is a very valuable insight. I personally do not use this the volume based indicators, but it's a very wonderful visual way to look at congestion points. So I think that for our viewers at home, it's a very valuable resource to start adding to your charts or to take a quick peek on to know where the congestion points are. And the more volume that you have at certain levels, the more unlikely that it's just going to clear through those levels easily. So I think that little nugget is definitely something to take away.